Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. Today is Wednesday, and on Wednesdays I do my Q&A videos where I basically answer your questions. And it's been a really crazy week for me. just all over the place week, but I wanted to get to your questions. And the first question comes from Phil Camacho. Uh, Nice Q&A. I've been seeing a large upward spikes in Golden Age cartoon characters' first appearances. By the way, good luck with the moving. Just a thought, you might decide to keep or leave unboxed books boxed with the massive amounts you already have in to box for the actual move. Regardless, do you foresee being on some YouTube hiatus while you move and try to set up your comic room? Um, so that's. Oh, and will your new home have a dedicated space for your comics to display on the wall? So actually, I was thinking of trying to keep the videos coming for next week in terms of like my weekly videos that I do. But when you suggested this hiatus, I actually thought it might be a good idea because I'll be in sort of a weird limbo state next week. So next week, I'm actually doing, I think, basically 4 moves. It sounds crazy, but it's what's happening kind of. So what happens is on the 10th, I will be moving out of this house. So this house will be putting all the stuff into the truck. And because it's a long distance move, it's about 5 hours from where I currently live to Ottawa. They're actually moving not just us, but 2 other houses with us in this big long truck. So what happens is we move once from here, and then 2 to 3 days later, we move again from the truck into the house, and then we sort it all out. So there's like kind of a 2 move day thing going on. And then in between that, because my family is still staying here, I'm going to be by myself in Ottawa for a little bit, just for a little bit. Um, we're doing a move from this place as well to the apartment that they're renting. So there's kind of an extra little move in there. And then my wife is going down with the truck. So she'll be with like we have a nanny that's going to help out, and she will be moving kind of in Ottawa. And then I will drive down to Ottawa with more stuff by myself. So it's like an extra move as well. So there's like a whole bunch of different moves, and it's going to happen from the 10th to the 17th. So it's just like move, 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 move. And then officially this house sells on the 18th. So it's just like crazy amounts of moving, cleaning, and just a bunch of crazy stuff happening. So when I think about the hiatus idea, I think it's actually a pretty good idea. But I do not want to stop producing videos. So I've already produced enough videos that I can actually go next week with the ones that I've already pre-recorded. So there's lots of content coming out. But what I was thinking of doing, just to make it kind of fun for you guys watching, where I don't do a Q&A next week. So if you ask me a question in this video, I will answer it, but it'll be a week, extra week. You just have to wait 2 weeks instead of 1. And what I'll be doing is I will be doing unboxings all next week. So it's going to be, there won't be a Friday challenge. There won't be a Q&A video. But there will be there will be challenges throughout the week. Not challenges, unboxings throughout the weeks, and I've got some pretty cool stuff that I'm unboxing. I might even do one live unboxing because I that might be tomorrow. So maybe if it comes in tomorrow, yeah, I'm expecting it tomorrow. Some really cool unboxing. That's special. That might happen tomorrow or Friday at the latest. It's going to be one of those days. It's going to be cool. So yeah, so it's going to be kind of like an unboxing week where I just do a whole bunch of really great unboxings. So that's next week. just as a little hiatus for me so that I can deal with moving. And also, I won't be in a situation where I can really record videos because I'll be in between two places and I won't even have my comics. They'll be like somewhere else, and they'll be kind of in between like a whole bunch of different locations. So yeah, so that's next week. So in my new house, when I finally make this epic move, I'll actually have a couple things. So currently, the way my situation is, my comic room is really where all my comics are stored. I have some in my office, but really most of the comics are in this comic room, and my display is in this comic room. In the new house, I will have like a huge area in the basement to store comics. It's like really kind of a nice. The previous owner was a book collector, so he had all these great cabinets designed for storing books, and they're just it's like all climate controlled and everything. It's like really awesome. So so I'm gonna repurpose those for comics. And then I'm gonna have the comic room in the attic. So my comics will be kind of like separated by several floors. Uh, my storage ones in the basement, and then the ones that I'm showing and kind of looking at more often will be in the attic. And then I'll have like this big, well, not really big, but slightly bigger than my current comic room area to work with. So I'm gonna try to do some built-ins. I'm gonna put a whole bunch of things on the wall. The walls are all angled, so it's gonna be a little weird, but I will do a comic room tour eventually once I finish it in whatever way I can finish it. It has windows, so I'm gonna have to try to block those windows off. So there's a bunch of things that I'm doing in the new home for my comics. I'm hoping that it'll work out to being a bigger space. I'm not so sure because it's just such a weird space that I have, but hopefully it's going to be good. And I'm going to try to have a better studio in a way, with proper lighting and everything in the new room. So that's something to look forward to. So it'll be maybe better quality videos. That's really my goal, is to try to up the game a bit. So that's my plan. For the move. It's going to be crazy. It's just, if you see me in 2 weeks, you know that I've survived. That's a pretty big deal for me. Just at this point, it's like craziness. You wouldn't believe it. And I'm going to get into that in a future video where I'm going to explain my life. You won't believe it. It's a crazy story that I'll tell you in 2 weeks, because I just want to survive it first, and then I'll tell you, because it's beyond just a move. That is not even the half of it. Like, that's just like the small tip of the iceberg of the craziness of my life, just getting to this move. It's just so crazy. But I will tell you that story in a future video. Okay, the next question, like sort of randomly going through here, is from Night Tiger Comics. So, do you own any Firing Squad Golden Age comics? And sadly, I don't. I don't own, because in last video I was showing some execution covers, and I don't own any Firing Squad covers in terms of Golden Age. I do have one Silver Age one though, and so I figured I'd show something. This is Lois Lane 75, and it's a great one. Lois Lane's basically acting like the executioner, and Superman's being forced to shoot an innocent man. So I thought that was kind of cute. So that's my only execution cover. I might have some others, but I can't think of them right now. But this is the only one I could think of. So yeah, sorry. I wish I had more. Some of them are pretty cool, but I don't have any in my collection. Lyle Hopkins wrote, Alan, hi Alan, thank you for your tips to buying and collecting Golden Age comics. In 2023, my focus will be on collecting more Golden Age. If you don't mind, would it be alright if I share my finds with you on Golden Age comics? I thought I'd ask first instead of inundating you with random Golden Age titles. Great video and comics. Yes. Yeah, I actually don't mind people reaching out to me and saying, hey, look, I found this cool comic. And then if it's too cool, I will go, hey, would you mind selling that or trading that? Because sometimes I get very tempted by people. Yeah, if you have cool comics you want to tell me about, I'm all ears, because then it's always fun for me to learn more about comics. I'm always learning about comics. I always feel like a noob when it comes to comics in a way, even though I've been doing this for a long time. There's always something you can learn. That's the way I approach it. So yeah, definitely. I'd love to hear about anybody's finds that they get. Black Box Silver and Bronze wrote, and this is a really kind of crazy thing that I have to do for this video, this question, but I'll get into it in a second. My knowledge of Disney characters is of Disney characters in the Donald Duck family has recently expanded to include Ludwig von Duck and Grandma Duck. Could you give me a listing of all the ducks in the Donald Duck family and tell me their first appearances in comics? So this was a big ask, because when you start looking for ducks, it's like, what the duck? You just start finding duck after duck after duck. So Ludwig von Duck, where did I put it? I actually have it somewhere. Oh, I don't know where I put my Ludwig. So somewhere in this room is a Ludwig von Duck first appearance, and it's actually kind of a cool first appearance. It's on the World of Ducks, and it's like a big book. And then there's a smaller one, Ludwig von Duck #1, which is for sort of his first comic-sized appearance. But the World of Ducks is his kind of considered his actual first appearance. So it's kind of a weird one. I've shown it in an unboxing, and I've shown it as well in other videos. And I don't know where I put it. That's the problem with moving. I don't know where anything is. But I will show you some other duck covers. So first of all, let's deal with the issue of Grandma Duck. So I actually had to do a bit of research to find out Grandma Duck. Grandma Duck originally appeared in, like many of these ducks, appeared in the comic, comic strips. And she appeared in the comic strip. I actually wrote it down. No, I didn't. Let's see if I remember it then. It was like something like the Buried Money. I think it's called Buried Money is the story. And it was basically a story where her picture is on the wall. And it's just like a portrait of her. That's from 1940. Later, though, she appeared in, and I was shocked because I didn't know that she made an appearance in this book. And I brought it because I actually showed this book recently, and I didn't even know this was her first appearance. So this is Walt Disney Comics and Stories number 76. So volume 7, number 4, whatever way you want to think about it. But this is where she makes her first appearance. So she's in an inside panel where she's kind of like Donald Duck visits her. So this is where Grandma Duck makes her first appearance. Now, to find out Grandma Duck was actually kind of challenging because, like, when you search it, you don't really get her first appearance information. So I had to find out what her real name was, and her real name is Elvira Coote. So that's how I found her, and this was her first appearance. So I think it's kind of cool. So and I post actually. If you want, if you're interested in seeing that panel, I will, if you Instagram me, connect with me on Instagram, I will send you a picture. And so, that's something else. Next one is, I brought this just for fun. This is the first cover appearance of Donald Duck. So this is Adventures of Mickey Mouse. And on the back, right here, this is the back actually, that's Donald Duck. That's the original, what Donald Duck originally looked like. So like this kind of weird duck. Doesn't really look like the Donald Duck we know now, but that's the original Donald Duck. And this was from, I believe, 1934. No, sorry, 1931. So first appearance on cover for Donald Duck. There's a later book, which is bigger, that has him. His first appearance in comics was in 4-color number 4, which is a crazy expensive book that I've tried to win a few times, but I keep on losing. Another duck in the duck family, Disney duck family, is Darkwing Duck. And not many people realize this, but Darkwing Duck actually made his first appearance in this Digest magazine. And I will show you Darkwing Duck if I can find him. Yeah, here's Darkwing Duck, his first appearances. So kind of cool. So a Michael Jordan book and Darkwing Duck. So that's kind of cool. And his first comic book appearance is in Darkwing Duck number 1. So this is Darkwing Duck, one of the ducks. And this is not part of the duck family per se, but it is one of the major characters. And this actually has 3 first appearances, or 2 first appearances, I should say. And I had to, yeah. So this is Magica Dispel's first appearance. This is Uncle Scrooge number 36. And it's also Mrs. Quackfaster. Mrs. Quackfaster. Now, Mrs. Quackfaster, okay, so first of all, Magica Dispel is kind of like the nemesis, like the female nemesis for Uncle Scrooge. And I'll show you her cover appearance after. Miss Quackfire, Quackfaster, I should say, Miss Quackfaster is the secretary for Uncle Scrooge. So those are some more ducks that you can search for. And you get 2 first appearances in Uncle Scrooge number 36. And I'll show you, if I have it. This is Magica Dispel's first cover appearance. And I think it's a great first cover appearance because she's on it many, many times. So it's kind of interesting one. And this is, I forgot what number this is. Oh, I forgot the issue number. But yeah, so this is, but look for this cover. This is, Magica Dispel, her first cover appearance. Okay, and then we got another kind of interesting duck group, I guess, would be the Junior Woodchucks. And this is the first appearance of the Junior Woodchucks. This is when Huey, Dewey, and Louie, they're always in the Junior Woodchucks. So this is their first appearance as Junior Woodchucks. And this is Disney Comics and Stories number 125. And then we got to find where did they make their first appearance? Huey, Dewey, and Louie, the nephews of Donald Duck. Well, they made their first appearance in this book, which is Walt Disney Comics and Stories number 3. So it's a great fireman cover for Donald Duck too. It's kind of a great cover for him. And then we got to go with some other popular ducks. We go with Gyro Gearloose, who's like sort of the inventor kind of for Uncle Scrooge. And this was where he made his first appearance, Walt Disney Comics and Stories number 88. It's kind of a cool book. And, oh, sorry, 140. Sorry, one sec. Yeah, this is, but just so you know, Gyro Gearloose is not really a duck. I'm sorry, I ruined it. But Gyro Gearloose is a chicken. Just so you know, he's kind of like, anthropomorphic chicken, like kind of like weird looking. Next is Gander, like what's his name? Gladstone Gander. And this is another duck, made his first appearance in this book. It's kind of like a kind of fancy looking duck. So this is Walt Disney Comics and Stories 88. That's where I was trying to say before, the other one. So yeah. And then another famous duck for the duck family is Daisy Duck. And that would be Donald Duck's love interest. And she made her first appearance in this book, which is Walt Disney Comics and Stories #1. And in it, she's actually not called Daisy Duck. She's called Donna Duck. So there's a splash page inside with Daisy Duck. Being called Donna Duck. So this is the first appearance of Daisy Duck. So Walt Disney Comics and Stories #1. And another famous duck, one more, is Uncle Scrooge. And Uncle Scrooge made his first appearance in this book, which is Dell 4-Color 178. And it's a really great book to have. So this is kind of the big grail for the ducks, like one of the big grails. Donald Duck's obviously the biggest, which is the 4-Color #4. Okay, so that's Uncle Scrooge. And there's a few, like, let me just see. I want to make sure I got all the other ducks. There's one other duck that I should mention. In DuckTales #2, the second series, there's another duck called Della Duck, and she is the mother of Huey, Dewey, and Louie. so in DuckTales #2, Series 2 is her first appearance. And that was in 2018. So she's a relatively new character. Let's see. I think that is all the ducks that I found. So I hope that was interesting. Like a bunch of ducks, lots of ducks. And those are, some. I like collecting these kind of weird characters, so I have a bunch of them. Still working on that 4-Color #4, but yeah, you'll see it in a future unboxing, hopefully. Okay. Okay, next question comes from Vob. Great. Hello, enjoying the content. I know there are more men in the industry, but was wondering if there are any female Golden Age artists that you enjoy and can show off. Thanks and keep up the great work. Actually, I actually answered this question in a previous video where I did a spotlight on what's her name? Lily Renee. And I had done a couple spotlights on female artists as well. I'm not trying to avoid showing some stuff, but as well, I did do a video where I did top 10 female artists from the Golden Age as a challenge, as one of the cover challenges. So I recommend you watch that video. So just just do a search for Friday Comic Challenge, and you can see some of those cool covers from all the female artists from the Golden Age. Now I do have one Lily Renee that I can show right off the bat. Really easy to grab. And this is an example of Lily Renee's work, which is kind of it's from Planet Comics. It's a great mermaid cover and underwater cover too, if you want to go that way. Just a really great cover. So yeah, so this is Planet Comics #49. And just so you know, with the female Golden Age artists, what happened was, women really weren't in the industry for at first. It was sort of very male dominated. But what happened was when the war broke out, a lot of the male artists took the call to duty and they went off overseas. So what they did was they hired women artists to basically fill in, the gaps. And so you get like a bunch of these really great female artists sort of taking on the role, being the comic book artists during the war. And so, a lot of really great women artists got their first job during that time period. So kind of a cool little bit of history there. So the next question comes from Lady Pop Hunter. And she wrote, Hello, Alan. I'm getting more into Frank Miller comics. Do you have any? If so, can you show off what you have or comics for each series? Thanks. Okay, so Frank Miller did a bunch of stuff. Like he, some of his notable runs would be his work on Batman and on Daredevil. Those would be the two biggest ones. But some of the other series that he did, and that I really enjoyed, were a series called Sin City. They made a movie of it, and they actually made two movies of Sin City, which I enjoyed. I really enjoyed. And that I actually have, this question actually inspired me to finally get the comics. I never had the Sin City comics, and I was able to buy like the set. I think it's 6 books. For $20, it's amazingly affordable considering the movie was actually fairly successful, and it's a very cool movie. I really recommend the Sin City movie. It's just so stylized and very cool. Frank Miller also did a Spirit movie, which was not so good, but it also has very similar style. But I did bring some other Frank Miller books to show. Another series that I really enjoyed, or movie that I really enjoyed, and it also had 2 movies, was the 300. And I brought my collection of the 300 to show. So it's one of my favorite movies, actually, the 300. So this is 300, number 1. And 300 really looked at the story of Sparta, and it was very, very stylized and very, very cool. Very cool movie. And then we got some more. So this is just all the different issues of the 300. You can see the sort of Spartan helmet. And the story of the 300, for those who don't know it, was basically what happened was the Persian army, which was a massive army, like maybe 250,000 strong, basically, what they would do is they would amass these armies of just different groups that they had sort of conquered, and they would go to new territory and say, "Hey, we're going to conquer you now." And so the Persian army came to Sparta, and they basically said, "We're going to conquer you, or you can join us." That was the choice that they were given. Sparta said, "We're gonna do our own thing. We don't want to be part of the Persian Empire." So the Persians kept to their word and decided to try to conquer the Spartan nation. And what happened was, in order to get into Sparta, it was kind of in an awkward position. There was sort of this mountain that you had to go through, this sort of narrow pass. It was called the Hell's Gate. And basically, what they did is they had to get more armies to reinforce their troops, but they had 300 soldiers that they could sort of use as a sort of like a group of men to sort of slow down the Persian advance. And they used this narrow pass to basically make the numbers of the Persian army kind of useless. So, you couldn't send all your army at them at once because they were sort of protected by the walls of this narrow pass. So, and the Spartans actually held their own for a fairly long time until reinforcements could come and basically push back the Persian army. So basically the 300 all die. Spoiler. But their whole stand against this just massive, like overly, like 1,000 to 1, kind of level. That stand, the small guy versus the big guy kind of thing, really was something significant in history that is remembered to this day. So that's why the story of the 300 is so cool. So just a really great story. So that's one of Frank Miller's stories that he did. Another one, and that's a true story, it's just he did his own version of it. And another cool one was he did Dark Knight Returns. And this is really where Batman sort of gets a more serious tone to him, more back to the original kind of more Golden Age Dark Knight sort of element of Batman. So this is a very famous book. So Dark Knight Returns #1. And another series that Frank Miller did was Batman Year One. And that's this one. So this is Batman Year One. And this is Batman 404. is the issue number. And it basically, retells the origin story of Batman, and kind of gives that, more. Frank Miller has a tendency of being more, how do I say it, more graphic and more, more heady in terms of the story. It's not like a light, happy-go-lucky story. He deals with much more darker side of things, and which fits into the DC world very well. So this was another series that he did. And one sec here. I brought one more thing to show, and I just gotta find it. And where did I put it? Oh, I must have put it. Of course. One sec here. You gotta bear with me. I set it down to bring it and show it, but I didn't show it. So it's kind of weird. So he did a series called Ronin. And this one's kind of important, only because, it was a series that he did. It was his own thing. He kind of went off to do this within DC. Now he's sort of, Frank Miller starting his own company. I forgot what it's called, Frank Miller Verse or something like that. And he brought this character back, so the Ronin. So another kind of cool book for for Frank Miller. So yeah, so that's my Frank Miller collection. I probably have a few other books with him, like some Daredevil, but I'm not sure where they are. Again, moving, so things are a little chaotic. But I figured I'd show you those. Those would be some really great ones to check out. I definitely recommend Sin City. Definitely recommend Dark Knight Returns. And definitely recommend the 300. So some reading for you to do. Last question comes from Kevin Lambert. What was Captain Marvel Jr. being executed for on the cover? So last week I was showing execution covers, and I showed my copy of Captain Marvel Jr. 119, which is the last issue of the series, and it ends with a blast. So Captain Marvel Jr. is getting electrocuted on the cover. So you're like, oh, why is he getting electrocuted? Are they killing him off? Because that's, it was the last issue. Well, the way the story works is, in the story, Captain Marvel Jr. pretends to be bad. Like, really, he's pretending to be bad. Because he basically pretends that he murdered a police officer. And he does it really like so that a lot of people see. So, of course, they arrest Captain Marvel Jr. and they take him to jail to be executed. In there, he's sort of talking to the other prisoners. And the other prisoners were like, oh, we got this money stashed away. And, if you help us get out, we'll share this money with you. So he basically helps them escape, and in the process, one of the ways he does it is kind of silly. He goes to the electric chair, and they're putting so much juice into into Captain Marvel Jr. because he's basically super powerful when he's in his Captain Marvel Jr. state, that they actually blow a fuse and the lights go out, and it's a perfect opportunity for everyone to escape. So they escape, and they show Captain Marvel Jr. where the money was hidden. And that's really what the whole story is about, because then at that moment, it's when Captain Marvel Jr. basically, shows his true colors, which is the hero, and he, captures them again and finds the missing money that they were all looking for. So that's really the story. It's sort of like and then it's revealed that the police officer, he was just faking that he was dead, and there was no real damage and all this kind of stuff. So he was just pretending to be bad. So that's the whole story for Captain Marvel Jr. So I hope that's interesting. So that was this week's Q&A session. If you want to ask a question, and you'll give me 2 weeks to answer it, put a question in the comments below. I will definitely have some crazy stuff to show in 2 weeks. So So you can ask me whatever questions you want, and I will be in my new place. I'm pretty sure. Should be 2 weeks. It'll be kind of weird. I'll be sort of semi moved in, so it'll be kind of crazy. I might even do a live Q&A. I'm not sure. I'm debating about it. So it might be one of those, I'm all alone in this house. I want to talk to somebody kind of situations. I'm not sure. It might be funny. So yeah, so that's look forward to that in 2 weeks. But next week, look forward to just a lot of really great unboxings. Some amazing stuff that I picked up. That's happening next week. The other thing is I still have my interviews that I'll be running on Saturdays, so look forward to that as well. And there's a really great interview this weekend. If you're gonna watch any of my interviews, it's this weekend that you don't want to miss. I am going to show something like this guy that I met. He actually came here to this house to meet. So he brought some amazing stuff, just like stuff that I've never seen. I've never seen this stuff in person. I knew about it. I just never seen it. Just really amazing stuff, and you won't see it anywhere else. This is probably the first time some of these books have ever appeared on YouTube. That's how amazing they are. So definitely check out the video on Saturday for that. And there's going to be a Friday challenge again this week. Next week there won't be a Friday challenge, but the week after there's going to be a special Friday challenge, which I don't want to tell you too much about. So that's going to be in 2 weeks. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.